very fortunate to have Gypsy Metellus of Saint-Laurent here to give the inaugural talk. In just a few moments, Professor Temetro from our English department will introduce Gypsy. But before she does, I'd like to take a little bit of time to thank a number of people. I emphasize a little bit of time because when I did this, after I did this last 2 weeks ago, at the screening of Parallel Lives, my wife told me that my thanks ran longer than the film, so I will try to keep things in proportion. But I am very grateful to a number of people for all the support given to the Humanities Center. The FIU administration from the very beginning has both materially and enthusiastically supported the center and has done a great deal to bring it into existence and to allow it to continue to grow. Dean Laura Probst of the FIU Libraries has very generously made this space available and made us feel very welcome here in a central part of the campus. WPBT Channel 2, the public television station, which is recording all of our lectures, has been generous and supportive and enthusiastic, and their co-sponsorship of these lectures has meant a great deal, both in terms of the material support we have and just the psychological boost it gives. They are part of the community, and they've made us feel equal partners in the community. I'm sorry that Tony Randolph, a strong supporter of the center, was not able to be here tonight. She planned to, but at the last minute had to cancel. She is in fact responsible for Gypsy being here, and I'm grateful to both of them. And I'm grateful to all of you for coming here tonight for what I think will be an absolutely terrific experience. And now I'd like to ask Professor Hopkins to come and introduce our speaker for the night.
I'm really pleased to introduce Gypsy Metellus for this evening's Center for Humanities lecture. I'm pleased for two reasons. First, Gypsy and the work that she is doing in the Haitian community are ideal for what Dr. Gillespie is doing with the Center for Humanities program here at Florida International University. He has drawn a focus on communities that have thus far received very little attention in South Florida. And Dr. Gillespie, I'm really glad, you really need to be commended for the work that you're doing here with these communities. Second, Gypsy is my friend. I've had the opportunity over the years to watch her grow and excel within the South Florida community. I met Gypsy about 15 years ago at a community event. And at that time, I was preparing to launch my Creole language workshops. And so she was such a dynamic speaker. So after the event, I don't know if you remember that event, and then after the event, I went up to her and I said, Gypsy, I told her about the Creole language workshops and what we were going to do. We were going to bring the Creole language workshops to the community to educate the community, the lay people in the community, and Dade County public school teachers about Creole languages. And I asked her would she participate. Gypsy said by all means. She came to the Creole language workshops, she emceed, she was speaker, and not only that, she helped me to raise money for the Creole language workshops. She gave me community connections, and she brought in school teachers from Fort Myers, from all over South Florida. I didn't even know we had Haitian school teachers. And she has been involved in the Creole language workshops up until we sort of phased out. But during that time, I had a chance to really observe Gypsy, and I said, this lady is going far. I expected to see you in a huge political office by now. I knew there was much in store for Gypsy. And as a community organizer, as a political activist, and I really don't want to limit you there, but I know that there's just great accomplishments ahead for you. So let me just share with you some of her work and accomplishments. Over the past 2 decades of leadership in service to the South Florida community, she has served on numerous boards. She currently serves at the Miami-Dade County Public Schools Diversity, Equity, and Excellence Advisory Committee, the Alliance for Human Services, the Alliances for Community-Based Care in Aventura Hospital, and she's also a member of the Miami chapter of International Women's Forum. In addition to these, she's also served as chairperson of the Haitian Refugee Center, member of the programming team of Radio Lancaciel and Radio Etincelle. I don't know if my Haitian Creole is great, and she's chair of the Association of Haitian Educators of Dade and chair of the Society of Haitian American Professional and Entrepreneurs. In these capacities, Gypsy has been and continues to be a stalwart advocate for the needs and interests of the Haitian community. And I must add that although her focus has been on the Haitian community, it has not been limited to the Haitian community. Gypsy has been involved in many events and community organizations that have also served the needs of the African American community. Gypsy has been recognized by a number of prominent Haitian American professional organizations for her tireless and exemplary leadership, as well as her ability to articulate and elevate the Haitian American community's perspective and interests at a national level. Her community involvement and leadership have brought her many honors, including Women of Impact, Bell South Black History Honoree, in the Company of Women, Rockefeller Foundation Leadership Fellowship, Women's Hall of Fame, Miami Icon, Outstanding Americans by Choice, and Humanitarian Award, among many others. She has also been recognized internationally, having traveled to China to present at the International Conference on Women, to Japan at the invitation of the Japanese government, and she, along with a select group of national leaders, was invited to travel to Israel by the American Jewish Congress. Gypsy was also a student in our linguistic program here, and I have to push that, and received a Master's of Science in Modern Language Education from FIU and a Postmaster's Certificate in Education Leadership from Nova Southeastern University. And her current claim to fame, once that she's really most noted for, is as co-founder and executive director of Haitian Neighborhood Center Saint-La. Saint-La is a one-stop neighborhood resource center that serves the Haitian American population of South Florida. And I think when you were kind of phasing out of the Creole language workshops, you were launching that center, and I was pushing for you then. Gypsy's motto is provide the leadership to get things done, and she has certainly done that, using her ties and relationships with mainstream institutions to benefit issues, projects, and initiatives of significance to the South Florida community. I don't know how you've done it, but you do it well. So you're doing a great job, and I'm really so proud of you, Gypsy, and all of your accomplishments. Let us welcome Gypsy Metellus.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Hopkins. Thank you for the kind introduction. Thank you so much, Dr. Gillespie, for the invitation, and thank each and every one of you for being here this evening in what I hope will be an enlightening conversation, a conversation that certainly, I hope, will serve you really, really well. I want to congratulate FIU in terms of its standing in this community. I want to congratulate you all for being part of such a community-based institution. I know that the school is 46 years old, and the 46,000 students enrolled this year are part of a very precious jewel in this community. And so hoping that talks such as this one continue to help you pave the way, pave your own learning path, your own learning adventure, continue to challenge you, continue to make you think very critically, make you question, and certainly you'll be great contributors to all that's wonderful in Miami-Dade County. So thank you for being here. So Dr. Hopkins, throughout her introduction, I kept saying to myself, okay, when did she ever get any work done? Because you get so involved, and of course, you do what you love, and when you do what you love, you find time, you make time to do it all and to juggle a number of balls, and I've been fortunate and blessed to be able to do that. My family certainly has been very supportive throughout my careers. I've had very supportive team members who've sort of pushed me, helped me, enabled me to do the kinds of things that I love and that I hope, first and foremost benefit the community that I love so much. And of course, you'll pardon me, well, you won't pardon me because you know that the title of the lecture tonight is the Haitian Imprint on the Humanities. So you don't need to pardon me if I focus on the Haitian community, right? So just to quickly tell you that the Haitian Neighborhood Center is a neighborhood resource institution serving the community at large. Yes, of course, we focus on the Haitian community, but of course we serve everyone. And part of the service beyond helping out and serving as a broker of resources, of services for community residents, we also make it a point to be of service to institutions such as this one. Educational institutions, public and private sector institutions who need to better understand the Haitian community, who need to be a little bit more familiar with its challenges, its issues, its aspirations, and the ways in which they propose to serve this community. And so I see this squarely as part of our mission at SAMPLA, because clearly if this evening's conversation helps you to reframe your perspective about Haiti, about the Haitian people, about the Haitian community, then I would have lived the SAMPLA mission, which is to empower, strengthen, and stabilize South Florida's Haitian community. So that's SAMPLA, and of course you've heard plenty about me. So this conversation tonight is, and I with Dr. Gillespie's help, I titled it the Haitian Imprint on the Humanities. Clearly, because I wanted us to understand that the humanities are an ever-evolving discipline, right? Ever-evolving field, excuse me. Multifaceted field, history, archaeology, linguistics, sociology, you know it as well as I do. But then, at times, the humanities can be, well, some people, rather, and their promotion of the humanities have had such a Eurocentric perspective, Eurocentric vision. It's always been in the Greco-Roman tradition. It's always been in the tradition of, I don't know, the Middle Age scholars and the Renaissance scholars and the Enlightenment scholars. And I'm here to say to you that, it is all of that, certainly, and more. And it continues to be enriched and enhanced by the collective experience of all peoples, right? And it continues to be studied and appreciated by students of broad diversities and broad backgrounds, such as yourselves. And so just again wanting to clarify and to make absolutely clear for each and every one of us that it belongs to all of us. This discipline, this field, if you will, yes, belongs to all of us. We all contribute to it, and it is the place at which we are helped to understand ourselves, understand our traditions, our histories, our collective history as human beings, as people, the humanities, to understand our sense of place in the communities in which we live, to understand our sense of civic duty. And you do all of those things, plus major in your respective majors, as you continue to maintain this broad, this open-mindedness vis-a-vis the world, vis-a-vis the peoples that populate this world, and their histories. And in their histories, you learn their traditions, their cultures, their aspirations, their contributions, because clearly we've all contributed. Although, given, of course, the Eurocentric perspective that I referred to earlier, and of course, the unfortunate tradition, of a legacy, if you will, of racism, discrimination, the prejudices. And so, there are some people who would have us believe that, the contributions of any non-European, non-white people is not valuable, Let me tell you. I remember then President Aristide, Jean-Bertrand Aristide, as he was, there had been some upheavals in Haiti, and there was a plot to engineer his ouster, right? And talking, I guess, to the people whom he felt were responsible for having engineered this plot against him, this plot to remove him from power, he made this reference that, and I found fascinating, I'll tell you why. The reference was that, he wanted the people who plotted against him to remember and to recall very vividly what Cicéron had to say to Catiline. Okay, this is taking us back to some Roman period. Yeah? So I thought to myself, oh my goodness, what's he talking about? And what was fascinating for me was that there were so many people in Haiti who understood the reference, who understood what he was referring to and understood the inference. And he was talking about the fact that Cicéron, as one of history's or the humanities' most celebrated orators, most celebrated speakers, most dynamic speakers, there's a whole school of speaking that train people to speak à la Cicéron, right? And so his message was, remember that Cicéron, who had taken it upon himself to speak out against those who would conspire to seize power, let them be reminded of what Cicéron said to Catiline. Bottom line, I guess the point that I'm driving at is the fact that I was very pleased that there were so many Haitian students like yourselves in Haiti who understood the reference and knew exactly what he was talking about. It took me a while to go and research it and figure out what he was saying. All right, so the point is that, again, humanities belongs to all of us. We all contribute, we all share, we all enrich it, we all continue to make it this ever-present, this ever-expanding field of study and of interest. All right, so again, what I wanted to say to you is that there is, in fact, a very, very strong tradition a very strong scholarly tradition of being, what's the word? Of being accustomed, of being familiar with the humanities and Haitian scholarly work, right? And so I think that that's one of the takeaways that I want you to keep close to you. And so let's move on to this Haitian imprint that I referred to. Haiti as a country that became the very first in this hemisphere to have engineered the very first successful slave revolt, the very first people in this hemisphere to seize their freedom through their own means, their own power, their own fight, right? And so I think Haiti's claim to fame, if I may put it this way, is that it remains the only country in this hemisphere that achieved this great feat. But what's really wonderful about this first and this really very significant historic achievement is that our Haitian forebears, and in particular Jean-Jacques Dessalines, who would lead the Haitian armies, the then Haitian armies, to victory, their philosophy was, we as the people of Haiti cannot be free truly if there is enslavement and the region. And the region, of course, being what we know today as the Caribbean, Central and Latin America. And so part of what they wanted to do to not just seek and sustain this freedom for Haitians, but was to also import it, right? Import it to these neighboring nations, right? So it's in that sense that Haiti is cited and is thanked and is in the memory of the people of Venezuela, the people of Colombia, the people of Dr. Moras, Florentine Moras, please help me if I leave any country out. There's a host of countries and the region whose freedom they thank Haiti for. Because in addition to having this as a philosophical principle, Haiti also provided the arms, and beyond the arms, they provided the people to actually support and help the local armies, the indigenous armies, who were themselves struggling for the liberation of these respective peoples. And so I say that to you because, again, in addition to being very proud of this history. We're also very proud that, you know, I like to say, and a lot of people challenge me on this, that I think Haiti sowed the seeds for what we know of today as the modern notions of Pan-Americanism, Pan-Africanism, the regionalistic coming together of nations, of countries to sort of protect and defend their interests, first and foremost their territories, but eventually throughout history we saw that to be in terms of goods and services and markets, so on and so forth. So one of the ironies though that I want to point out to you is that if my memory serves me correctly, there was a conference in the Americas. I want to say this conference was in Panama. Of course, this is hundreds of years ago, so please forgive me if I can't cite the date. This was a gathering of nations, of Central American nations, where the topic of conversation was the creation of this principle of regionalism, of coming together of these countries to support one another, to be mutually supportive, to defend their interests, defend their borders, so on and so forth. And true, you know, one of the ironies of history is that the one country, the one nation that sort of stepped out there very early on to say, we believe in this principle, and we will not only put our money where our mouths are, but we're going to go beyond, was excluded from this conference. Haiti was not invited to this great big Panama conference where this spirit of this idea of regionalism and the Americas would take place. So, one of these ironies of history. All right. So then, in terms of this imprint, clearly, you know, the historic achievements, of course, have been the subject of scholarly works and theses and conversations and debates and all of the stuff you know to be part of academia. But of course, you know, in certain circles, there was always this point of view that, well, you know, these Haitians, you know, these people who founded this nation called Haiti, these former slaves, you know, these black people, these people who come from the continent of Africa, who came in as slaves, well, they couldn't really handle, you know, establishing this new state and, you know, creating the institutions that would support the state and making the country work. And so Haiti had many, well, people, let's say, who were not supportive of its newfound freedom. And it took, you know, I think the administration of President Lincoln to finally recognize Haiti as a free country. And we're talking the Lincoln presidency being around 1860? Okay, so this is about the time at which the United States formally recognizes Haiti as a free country. And the other irony of history too is that Haiti paid a price for this freedom and continues to pay this price today, I would argue. First, France imposed this so-called debt this independence debt. In other words, okay, you want to be free, you've obtained your freedom, pay up. You owe France, who was then the metropolis, who was then the colonizing nation, well, you know, you pay up in order to secure your freedom. And I think that, that was probably the most significant factor in, I would say, bankrupting the Haitian state and really curtailing its possibilities, its opportunities to truly establish an economy that would be strengthened through all of the elements that we know that an economy requires in order to grow, to prosper, and to continue to expand. So keep that in mind as well. Now, the second area that I want to share with you is in terms of literature. There was in September 1956, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, September 1956, a conference of black writers in Paris, right, at the Sorbonne. The Congrès des Écrivains Noirs, and of course it was French-speaking, English-speaking writers, poets, and intellectuals. And of course this group would include such, Illuminatis, such as, Leopold Sédar Senghor, Mr. Diop, of course, Dr. Jean Price-Mars of Haiti, Jacques-Stéphane Alexis of Haiti, a number of really brilliant intellectuals, brilliant thinkers in the black world. And again, I would argue that that conference would be the catalyst for what we would know to what became known to us today as negritude. You're familiar with the concept of negritude? This is all about celebrating blackness, celebrating black literature, black arts, no matter the art form, black peoples, black cultures. And so Haiti was very much at the center of this notion. And of course, its writers, along with other, English-speaking writers, and I can think of Richard Wright, I can think of W.E.B. Du Bois, I can think of other French speakers, Frantz Fanon, Aimé Césaire. These folks came together to say, it's time that we offered a collective response to the white world or to the European world that would have the world believe that we were less than, that we could not produce, that our works of art did not have a universal value, that we could not produce significant literature, we could not produce significant works of art. And of course you understand the thread of this argument in the context of course, post-colonial period, a period where we begin to see and feel the legacy of enslavement, through the various racist, prejudiced, and discriminatory policies and institutions. So understand what I just said in that particular context. And so one of my favorite Haitian authors is Jacques-Stéphane Alexis. This is he was a physician by training, but also very much the poet, the writer, the novelist. And in fact, one of his novels, I think was translated in about 9 languages, remains a must-read for anyone interested in the humanities, and it is Masters of the Dew, right? And if you had never heard of it. So Jacques-Stéphane Alexis introduces a very interesting concept that I think really explains the Haitian spirit. And he called it the marvelous realism of the Haitian psyche, of the Haitian mind. And to simplify that concept, you see it when you look at a Haitian painting, for example, whether it is one of the naif paintings that you look at, or some other painting, or even a mural that depicts a scene that is so real, that is so moving, that is so this is beyond realism. And so for Jacques-Stéphane Alexis, what he tried to convey was that there's this innate creativity in the Haitian soul that enables Haitians to create in a manner, not that we're better than other peoples, but that stands out, and you see that creativity in Haitian literature, you see that creativity in various arts, whether we're talking paintings or sculptures, or the oral tradition in Haiti, or the storytelling tradition, or the literature, as I said. So this realism is, and I think Alexis argued that this realism only comes from a place of having experienced the history, good and bad, having experienced what the world imposed upon Haiti. So those things, I guess, he would argue, enrich other stuff that sort of enrich that realism, that marvelous realism, as he called it. And so, taking that concept and understanding why people have argued that Haitian arts are so sought after throughout the world, why they're so enthralling, they're so captivating. You know, from the little colors. I don't know if you've seen, if you've had experience with any form of Haitian art, you know, people are captivated by the colors, by the scenes, by the imagery, by the story behind whatever it is you're staring at. And not that other people can't produce wonderful and beautiful art, but the idea is that there is something so special in the Haitian soul, in the Haitian psyche, in the Haitian makeup that makes it singular in terms of the delivery and the production of these various forms of art. So again, keep in mind this marvelous realism. Now, of course, I would also suggest that in terms of religion and language, Haiti again, you know, occupies, I think, a singular place in this great big humanities tradition. In terms of religion, just to give you a very quick crash course in terms of how Haitian voodoo becomes a reality. Of course, you know that it is a syncretism of various Catholic images, saints, rites, so on and so forth. And of course, all of this done by the then slave population to camouflage the fact that they were still very much practicing their own traditions, their own religious beliefs and traditions. And so in order to hide this from the masters, in order to not appear as if they were doing anything out of the ordinary, and so they fabricated, created this religion that would be, that would appear to the average Catholic to be, well, you know, this looks very similar to Catholic rites. But in fact, there is, for each Catholic saint, there is a singular spirit within the voodoo pantheon that's associated with this Catholic saint. And of course, there are other peoples in the Americas who've done the same thing. So I'm not suggesting that Haiti is unique in that sense. But I think, you know, as a Haitian, I am proud to claim this as one of the, again, singular events and the history of mankind. And of course, the second piece would be Haitian Creole, right? As a language. Again, if you're remembering that the enslaved situation is one that includes a number of tribes, individuals from different tribes who of course speak a different language. And all of these languages now come in contact with, you know, French. Let's take French as the primary example, as the French were the longest rulers, the longest colonizers in Haiti. So it's in that sense that Haitian Creole is essentially an African-based language, and please don't call it a dialect, don't call it a patois, it is a language with all of the rights of a language. And so this language, while very much patterned after African languages, its vocabulary is very much French, and that is, you know, one of the results of the contact between the then enslaved Africans who inhabited the then Saint-Domingue and the French colonizers. And so, you know, this language, and you know, this is for me what is the element that enriches all of us. This is a language that's given rise to a number of scholarly pursuits, you know, from those interested in linguistics, from those interested in understanding the relationship between language and thought, from those interested in looking at, you know, how language is created, how human beings create language. And so for me, Haitian Creole offers one of those rare opportunities to study language, to promote and to further studies around language, and to come away with, I think, learnings or lessons that I think serve all peoples and that serve humanity. And so I know that for a long, long time, though, there were linguists, there were folks interested in art who did not believe that Haitian Creole should be ranked among the languages of the world, right? Thought that Creole was a less than given the fact that, given its creation, the conditions of its creation, given the people who created it, given the place where it hails, from which it hails. So all of those elements serve to sort of ascribe a second place status, second class citizenship, if you will, to this language. Right? But, I think collectively as a people, clearly, we reject that because we continue to speak and write and read and produce in Creole and to have extensive exchanges, whether those exchanges are from a very highly intellectual point of view or from a scientific point of view. The bottom line is that there have been significant investments in the development of this language and its enrichment and its expansion in terms of vocabulary. And so, please don't let anybody tell you that Haitian Creole does not belong in the family of world languages. Right? It may not be a language that people ascribe a lot of value to, given one, Haiti's status in the world, especially today, given the fact that Haiti is not known to be one of these, a first world country, right? And given all that that's associated with these kinds of rankings, well, there are people who would view the language, the people, the culture, the religion, and everything in between as less than, as inferior. And again, I'm here to challenge you all to reject those kinds of notions and to reject those, not just in the case of Haiti, but to reject them for all peoples. Because again, the idea is that we're encouraging you to adopt a very broad mindset, to adopt an open-minded point of view, to sort of live and learn and be enriched by all people's traditions and histories, and to not assign a value and to not go with what I think it was Frantz Fanon who called this a principle of hierarchy. Do not believe and do not ascribe to this notion that languages, though today there are languages of the world, there are the languages spoken officially at the United Nations, the languages officially spoken in diplomacy. All of that is very true, but do not believe that one is less valuable than the other. Is really the point that I am making to you. Now, beyond that, I spoke of language, I spoke of religion. There's an area that I think many people have not paid attention to in terms of, again, this Haitian imprint on the humanities, and that is the area of philosophy, right? You are familiar with Aesop's fables, right? You are familiar with La Fontaine, as in Les Fables de La Fontaine? Yes? No? Yes, okay. So, in Haiti, there are these proverbs that are absolutely fascinating. Fascinating because they essentially come from the everyday experiences of the average Haitian person, that common person who comes up with a saying that is most simple when you hear it, but when you analyze it, when you unpack it, when you think about its implications, you say, oh my goodness, how did these people come up with such simple sayings that resonate so well? Now the challenge is to always translate those in a way that would make sense to all of you, whether you're English speakers or Spanish or French speakers. Yes, that is a challenge. But when a Haitian tells you that there are mountains behind mountains, what do you think is being suggested? What do you think is being suggested by this proverb, this Haitian proverb, that there are mountains behind mountains? Or that what you don't know is greater than you, right? And so, you see a mountain, a high structure right in front of you, but behind it is something that's unknown to you. And so this is one example of one of these celebrated Haitian proverbs that again come from the people, right? And there's a collection of those. I think it's titled 999 Haitian Proverbs, and of course I think that they have been translated in French, in Spanish, and in English. So if the Green Library has a copy, borrow it and take a look. It is fascinating in terms of the very simple concepts. I like the average person's philosophy. It isn't the Diderot's, the Rousseau's, the Montesquieu's, but it's close to it. And essentially saying the same thing, promoting the same thing, promoting the same lessons and the same values.